What is good, everybody? Boxing fans, boxing critics, and boxing analysts. Renee Box Young going live. I just want to go live because I don't want to upload it. You know, I was going to do a video, but I was thinking about uploading it and doing that whole process, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go live, and I want to give my take on Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury rematch. My reactions. You know, I typically don't do it fresh right after the fight. You know what I mean? I let things settle down. You know, y'all who know me, I usually try to do that. I usually do that. You know, I sometimes want to do it at the moment, but I just let things settle down. That's how I do it. You know, I like to reflect. Chris Reyna, what's good, brother? What is good, man? What is good? Hey, you want to go live, man? I'll send you a link, bro. If you want to go live, just let me know, man. If you want to go here, if you want to chop it up with me, all right? I just want to talk a little bit about Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury reaction, and like I was saying, you know, I don't really I don't do it right after the fight. I like to let the smoke clear. You know what I'm saying? Let the dust settle, and I try to reflect throughout. You know, a few days after a big fight like this, like a big anticipated rematch like this. So, you know, first and foremost, I'm sure you guys saw the word is floating around that, you know, the numbers were amazing at the gate. You know what I'm saying? Pay-per-view. I'm not sure if the official numbers are out. I don't really pay attention to those things, but I'm sure it's amazing, man. I'm sure. I mean, it was an awesome turnout, man. Lots of fighters were there watching the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it was awesome, man. It was just a great night of fighting. You know what I'm saying? That main event just surprised many. As you know, I want to touch upon that a little bit. All right, cool, man. Let me get the link, bro. Let me get this link for you. Hold on, man. Let me send that for you, Chris. Just real quick, man. I got you right there, man. There you go. Just go ahead and click on that, bro. Yeah, formally I should do it on email or whatever, right? But I just didn't want to open up my email right now. I just want to get to the point, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, go ahead, man. I think that you got that link right there. Go ahead and jump in, bro. So yeah, man. I want to talk a little bit of, oh man, you're quick, El Chapo. Let's go. Let me get you right in, man. Let me get you right in. Just want to get you there,
Good,
bro.
man.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
up,
I'm
brother?
here. What's
Cool.
going
How you doing, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Just working, man.
Oh, all right, all right. Uh, so what'd you think? You know what? Before I ask you, bro, I want to just I went live. Salute to Abel Mahari. Go subscribe to Abel Mahari, Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Saturday fight night, you know, Saturday earlier around noon. He went live. He invited me days before that. And in the panel, we had Curtis Anderson, the historian. Y'all know who that is. Brooklyn Child Boxing. Go subscribe to them too. And we chopped it up. And what I did say, my chop up and analysis of that fight, okay, of the rematch was, and I'm gonna ask El Chapo in a moment. I said this, that, you know, we're gonna see Tyson Fury bully Wilder, obviously because of the weight gain, as he did with Otto Wallin. You know, the fight somewhat turned out like that. You know, Tyson Fury used his weight. We all know that, right? Dirty fighting also, as he did against Wallin also. A lot of people speculated that that was a dirty fight. You know, it was quite dirty. The ref wasn't really doing his job, according to several people, right? And we all know, you know, we just saw it. It was crazy, man. I can't find the words, but I mean, Fury had a game plan and it worked. I mean, I got nothing to, you know, say against it. I mean, I got to give ups and respect to Fury. I even said it in the analysis and with Mahari Nation live with him. I even mentioned, you know what, hats off to Fury, man, for even getting in the ring with Wilder in the first place. I'm not talking about the rematch. I'm talking about the first fight, man. I mean, Fury has the guts, you know what I mean? And he gained the glory in this rematch. And hey, hats off to him, man. And definitely hats off to Wilder. They're both warriors, and they're actually giving the example to the heavyweight division and boxing in general, because unfortunately, we're not always saying the best fight the best. So, Chapo, bro, what did you think about this whole fight, man? I mean, what'd you think?
Man,
The rematch, yeah.
I was excited. Well, first, I was very, very excited to see it. I have been doing a lot of film watching and stuff like that, and just basically watching it. And I had water. I had picked water. I like water a lot of. I thought he capitalized on a lot. He does have that one punch knockout. Always a fight at any given minute. But to be honest, man, I had seen a lot of that, a lot of adjustments that Fury can make. The only thing, and I had seen a lot of basically like we saw Wilder tends to get predictable with the right hand once he starts. Like if he lands it once, he starts kind of getting predictable on it, and he'll keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And he tends to not, once he gets in that, he's other punches, and we saw Fury timing it. If you notice, after the ninth round knockdown in the first fight, and also after the 12th round knockdown in the last fight, he kind of did the same, and then he ended up getting countered a couple of times and just getting stopped right in his tracks. And I thought that was kind of like something that, and I kind of felt that's kind of what happened. And he kind of basically from the beginning of the fight was able to time that right hand and just kind of waited and use his timing to defensively move out the way and stuff like that. I thought the punch that landed, albeit behind the head, it is what it is. We've seen. If you think about it, like there's always fights that we see that, and we saw it in the Joshua fight. That's how that whole fight changed. It was behind the head. We saw if you remember the ninth round knockdown in the Fury fight, within the first one, he knocked him down on top of the back of the head. You remember?
Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's all part of the game, man. And you're not always gonna land the cleanest punches all the time. So when you land a punch like that, it is what it is. It's boxing. It's part of the game. And after that, it did change. I actually had Fury. Wilder winning the first two. They were both close. You can give it to whoever you want it. But I had Wilder winning the second two. But then in the third round, I did see a lot of adjustments by Fury, and I thought he basically started taking over, and then he ended up knocking him. I think it was the third round when he did the knockdown. But he was winning that round convincingly. And then, after that, there wasn't much Wilder could do. He could never gain his balance, and Fury just took over the fight. I thought it was a great performance by Fury. I thought there's a lot of things Wilder did not do that I saw that he could have used, in the earlier rounds, or just kind of setting up. And then after that, he just became too predictable. Just throwing a 1-2 punch, trying to disguise that right hand, and he just can never land it. And then just basically being hurt the whole rest of the fight. That's kind of what I thought of it. But I'm ready for the rematch, I guess.
The trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, let me touch upon what you were saying. I totally agree, man, with everything you're saying, and I totally agree. That's something I want to touch upon is that Wilder, I know he has more tools in his box, man. I know he has more tricks up his sleeve. I even talked about it, before the rematch with Mahari Nation. I referred to that a lot because that was the most recent information I put out, and analysis concerning Wilder and Fury, and that's something I've always said. I constantly said. I even said it in the with the rematch, before the rematch between Wilder and Ortiz. I mentioned that Wilder has amazing athleticism. I know he can use that footwork because we've seen it in the Stavern rematch. When he obliterated Stavern. Every time Wilder rematched a fighter, he would just give a blowout win. And he has athleticism. He can use the back foot. He can fight off the back foot. He can use footwork because he's really athletic and he has that versatility. But he did, like you said, man, he didn't. I don't know why. He didn't use it in the rematch, which is, in my personal opinion, I was kind of disappointed. It was mixed emotions, as many followers. And like I said, I repeat, man, if anybody's watching, we just had right now a moment ago, Thomas Evans. I don't know if he just came in and out, just to throw that in there. Shouts out to Thomas Evans. We see that UK flag. Hey, all love to you, man. He said there's only one Tyson Fury. Yeah, hey. hats off. I said it at the beginning of the live, man. Hats off to Tyson Fury. You know, great win. Trey X, salute. Much love to you. Derek Bailey, everyone who's tuning in, man. Much love. One love, as I always say. You know what I'm saying? One love to y'all. And, you know, that's the thing. It was mixed emotions that night, you know, and I totally agree. I think Wilder was doing well in the first couple rounds, and then after that, you know, got hit in the back of the head, and then we all know what happened with his eardrum. Let me talk a little bit about that, with his eardrum exploding or what have you. I don't know the technicalities of it. I just know that blood was gushing out of that thing, and you know, when someone gets hit in the ear, we know that, you know, balance. There's, you know, our ears have a lot to do with balance, right? And I personally, some time ago, I suffered vertigo. I don't know if you have suffered that before, but vertigo is like, you know, where your balance is kind of off, you know, and it had to do with my ear. It had to do with my right ear because it was like plugged up. And then I suffered vertigo. I went to the hospital, and man, it was bad, because what happens is that, and that's why you guys we got to understand, man, what Wilder did. He lasted rounds and rounds after he got, you know, his ear popped like that, man. I mean, a lot of people are ignoring that. A lot of people aren't really considering that, because a lot of people haven't been through something like that. You know, I can relate to a certain extent. I haven't been punched there. I have not been punched there or anything like that. It hasn't exploded. My eardrum hasn't exploded before. But when you suffer something like that, and I'm sure Wilder suffered was along the lines of that, like vertigo. I'm not diagnosing it. No, I'm not a medic, but I can somewhat relate. As far as this, when I suffered that, I went home. I was out all day, and then thankfully I was out of state, and I drove home well. I didn't feel any effects. And then I went home. I laid down. The whole room was spinning. It felt like I was drunk, man. I felt like I was drunk. And I don't drink. I haven't drunk alcohol in so long. I don't do anything. I don't do any substances or anything like that. I do drink coffee, though. I mean, yeah, I'm a coffee addict. I love taking an espresso every morning in the office, you know. But people who haven't suffered that, they don't know. You got to respect Wilder. Amazing warrior. He's still top on my list of heavyweight fighters, man. Definitely. And a lot of people criticize Wilder. Oh, you know, all these excuses. And man, he got a busted ear, man. A lot of people, like I said, I repeat it again, man, because it's so important that, you know, if you haven't gone through it, you don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who hasn't gone through anything, they don't know what that experience is like. And I felt drunk. You know, the room was just spinning. And I was like, you know what? I started throwing up. I started, you know, vomiting, and I had to go to the doctor, man, because I said, this is crazy. I had to go to the hospital, and everything was spinning, and it was horrible. And I'm sure along those lines, that's what Wilder was going through, man. I'm sure, you know, I mean, the legs, it was obvious factor. That's why you can't. You see, when you suffer something like that, you get punched in the ear, or you have an injury in the ear, it's going to disrupt your balance. And when you disrupt your balance, it's because everything is spinning. Things are spinning. You're not in place, man, and that's why your legs go too. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That's exactly what. And we got to give that respect, man, and we got to admire that will, that determination that Deontay Wilder had, man. He went rounds after that. How long did it go to? Round 7?
Yeah, but
yeah, it was to round 7, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was caught up in the moment, man.
Don't worry about
that fight, so I don't even remember.
You know what? I was gonna say the same. I was gonna say the same thing, bro. I was so caught up. I don't even remember what round. You know what? After round 3, when at the end of round 3, I wanted to turn the TV off because I was worried about Wilder. I was like, you know what? I don't want to watch anymore because I knew it was gonna go down. I knew it was gonna be downhill from there, man. After seeing how he was reacting in the ring, I was like, it's game over. It's game over. Round 4, they're gonna probably stop the fight, you know. And I think it was a good idea. I think they should have personally, man. This is another point I want to point out. I'm kind of rushing it, but I don't want to go too fast. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, there are so many things to talk about. Like, I personally, okay, there are a lot of people who are criticizing why did they stop the fight? Bro, with the things I'm just saying right now, man, I mean, and a lot more factors, right? How many fighters died last year, man? Approximately 5. You know, I was breaking that in my channel, you know, those unfortunate deaths in boxing. Was it around 5, Chapo?
Then what?
The fighters who died last year, 2019, about 4 or 5, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
like
man.
There was a lot. There was a lot though.
And we're talking about, you know, lightweight fighters. Those are lightweight, man. Those are young, you know, those are light, man. Those are compared to heavyweight. I mean, dude, when you talk about life risk injuries and punches, man, that's the heavyweight division is more prone to that, man. Unfortunately, I'm saying, and you know, I personally think they should have stopped the fight a lot earlier, man. Because after round 3, I said they're going to stop I thought they were going to stop the fight in round 4. That's why I wanted to turn the TV off on round 3. I just wanted to turn it off. I was like, man, I can't believe what's happening, man, and I just wanted to turn it off. I was so like sad and, just mixed emotions. But at the same time, I was in awe because of what I'm saying a moment ago, that, Wilder's determination, his will, he was fighting. He just kept going. Man, you could just see it in his eyes. His eyes expressed like, wow. But at the same time, he's a fighter, man. He was going until the death. I mean, that's Wilder. You know what I'm saying? That's Wilder. I mean, that's crazy. That's amazing. I mean, I speak it in like in awe, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, I say it's mixed emotions, because at the same time, while Fury was given a great, I mean, he was doing great. I'm not gonna downplay, I'm not gonna downsize Fury's victory. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about it, Chapo? How do you, you know what I'm saying? Do you give all the credit to Fury for that win, or what do you think
Oh,
about
yeah,
that?
most definitely. I give all the credit to Fury. I mean, he deserved that victory. I mean, he went out, made the adjustments he needed to do, came with the game plan, stuck to the game plan, and applied the game plan. I mean, he just went out and he didn't go out and, how do you say it? He went out and took it. He went out and won it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get gifted a decision. He went out and took it into his own hands, and won that fight. So all the credit goes out to Fury. He fought an excellent fight and did great. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, about Wilder, that he showed a lot of heart, man. He wasn't just in survival mode. He was fighting back. At least he was throwing hands. And like you said, like he was just. I know I saw Trey X and they're saying, that basically they were saying that it was stitches after all. It wasn't a busted eardrum after all. That's what I've been hearing. A lot of reports that it wasn't a busted eardrum, but it was stitches in there. But I do believe that he basically, I guess when they say you get hit behind the ear, it knocks your balance off your equilibrium, and basically like vertigo is what they kind of start saying it is. It's vertigo. My wife, I've seen my wife. My wife has vertigo, so she deals with that a lot here and there, and so I know sort of what it does and shit like that. So, but like a lot of fighters, man, a lot of fighters you see in a lot of fights, they get hit right there in that same spot, and it just knocks them off their balance. And sometimes they can recover, sometimes they can't, man. And he just could never recover. And all credit goes, I mean, to Fury, man. He went out and he didn't let him recover or have even a chance. He went out and kept the pressure on Wilder, never let up, never gave up ground, just kept on and went and took it, man. So all credit go to Fury, man. I mean, you just gotta, I mean, bite it, man. Take your lick with a grain of salt, and then come back next time harder.
Definitely, definitely. I agree. I totally agree. And actually, what you're saying around a moment ago, we're going to highlight that comment right there. Trey X saying, yeah, they're saying it was a cut inside his ear, 7 stitches to close it. Oh, my. Ouch. Yeah, and what you're saying right now about vertigo, unfortunately, sorry to hear that, bro, that your wife suffers it too. And, yeah, ever since I suffered that, I've been suffering it, episodes of it constantly. And but it's controllable. That's a good thing about it. Ever since then, I don't know why. Ever since I suffered that, it was about that happened to me about, I don't know, man, like 6 months ago. I don't know, maybe no more. I know, like almost a year ago, maybe. I just don't know, something like that. And then ever since then, I've been suffering little episodes, and minimal, very minimal. And it seems like my head just goes around in circles or something. But yeah, it's very unfortunate, and I think that is what happened, to Tyson Fury. He was suffering a degree of that in there, and
You
man,
mean
7 stitches.
water?
Yeah.
Water. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
I said water because you said Fury.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes it makes names. Yeah, so yeah, man, I'm sure he was Wilder was suffering something along those lines in that ring. So we got to give him a lot of credit, man, for that too. I mean, both warriors, and I totally agree with you, man. I give Tyson Fury all the credit, all the credit that he deserves for that win. And I think it was an impressive fashion, a victory by impressive fashion, man. So it was great. Something Trey X said here too. Also, heavyweights don't die. When I was talking about the deaths and all that, he said heavyweights don't die as much as smaller fighters because they don't cut weight. Interesting fact right there. Speaking of weights, do you think? Okay, this is another thing I want to talk about. El Chapo, do you think that the heavyweight division should have like subdivisions? You know what I mean? Because look at the weight differences. That's a thing that I have always contemplated that for years. I have always contemplated that for years. Mike Tyson, he fought dudes twice his size, and it's similar to like Wilder. He was fighting guys, what, 30, 40 pounds above twice his size. As far as, but we're talking about weight though. Like, do you think there should be like subdivisions for the heavy? They have it for middleweights,
I
middleweight,
mean,
super middleweight. What do you think?
but then again, like we'll have that too, all that weight draining and all that stuff, and people trying to, get the advantage of being a different in a weight class that they can get into because they can effectively. I like, I mean, hanging around Trey X and fucking and learning your history and shit like that, man. I kind of don't. I really don't, man. I
Right.
really don't. Like I mean, then we start to change history and change, oh, this way. We never fought 40 a guy 40 pounds above him. So how, how is he as great as this one? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is. I think it should stay the way it is, but I mean, there is a big difference. Like I mean, but then again, like look at Wilder, man. You gotta give credit to Wilder because like people say, like Trey X says, man, hey, he's knocking dudes out 40 pounds heavier than him, and that's a great accomplishment of itself, man. Like most of these guys that are fighting in the lower divisions, they're only knocking guys out 8 pounds,
Yeah, exactly.
7 pounds heavier. But Wilder's knocking out dudes that are 40 pounds heavier, like guys that are way, way, way bigger than him. So, I mean, if we start to do that, then you start to change your history, man, and then you, it becomes different, man. So I like it the way it is. And I mean, you might either change up the way you fight, or basically put on a little bit more weight, or to find a way that you can, overcome the weight difference.
Yeah, adjusted exactly. And that's another thing. A lot of people, unfortunately, people are so quick and easy to call fighters bums. I remember I put out a video, one of my first videos on my channel, a while ago. I talked about that. I said, you know what? I'm very slow to call a fighter a bum. I might call him a weirdo, he's crazy, or whatever. But I just can't. I just don't. For me, I try not to do that because I got to respect everyone who fights in that ring, man. Everybody, because I've personally gone through it as far as sparring, training, not in a professional fight, but I know to a certain extent at least what it feels like and what it is to be in a ring, man, and fighting, man. It's just another game, you know what I mean? And the thing is the reason why I say this is that a lot of people don't give credit to Tyson. I'm sorry, to Deontay Wilder for the fact that, like you said right now, man, he's been knocking out guys, way above his weight, you know what I mean, for a long time now, and a lot of people don't pay attention to that, and that's why I give both fighters credit, and I agree with you. Yeah, it would be changing history, right? It would be changing history to do subdivisions for the heavyweight division. It's just a big lopsided, factor as far as weight. Like for this example, simple example with just this rematch that we just saw, right, with the Wilder and Fury. I mean, Fury was weighing in way heavily. Way heavily. He was just like a tank, man, against Wilder. But like you said, adjustments can be made, right? Trainers can make adjustments, and that's where the game plan falls in. That's where the game plan where it needs to be implemented. But hey, different game plans and adjustments. So let's get to the chat real fast, right? Okay, so we got Expert Genius. Salute, Expert Genius. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Max Bryant. Also, they're going back and forth. He's talking to Expert Genius. Chris Reyna also mentioned a moment ago that, why don't you give Fury credit? He's talking to Expert Genius. Yeah, I just want to make that clear. Yeah, we're giving him credit, definitely. We're giving both fighters credit. I mean, definitely. Expert Genius mentioned this right here. He said, Wilder wasn't the same after the first knockdown when he was hit in the back of the head. Yeah, exactly. That's what Chris Reyna was talking about earlier. Siri kept doing it throughout the fight. Siri, I'm sorry, what's Siri? Maybe I don't understand that right now. So yeah, I mean, they're going back and forth. Okay, so like when it comes to that, you Americans are so salty, it's hilarious. Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into that debate. I mean, same thing. I mean, yeah, I agree also with Expert Genius, right? He says that we salty, but y'all was salty with AJ, exactly. So I mean, yeah, back and forth it goes, but hey, all love, man. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about a trilogy now, Chris Reyna? What do you think? Do you think there should be a trilogy? I just want to get my personal intake real quick before we get into. I personally think Fury should. I'm sorry, Wilder should take a rest, man, because after seeing that fight Saturday night, I kind of thought, you know what, Wilder has to really take a rest, relax, recover, let his body heal and stuff like that, and what have you. A lot of people saying that also. But the thing here, if I'm not mistaken, you know what, news is just flying every day. Every second, there's something new. Ever since right after the fight, shortly after that, news came out that, Wilder, actually, you know what? I got it here on Twitter real quick. There were three reasons, right? Three reasons is that of his costume, right? One of the reasons is that the costumes coming from Wilder saying that, it weighed him down in the whole ring walk, right? And his corner was wrong for throwing in the towel, and that Kenny Bayless also, didn't do what he was supposed to do. So, I mean, there were some reasons Wilder was saying the reason why he lost, but I don't know, man. As far as a trilogy, the reason why I say this is this news coming out. I mean, this is just one after the other. Boom, boom, boom. Reasons why he lost. Reasons why this. Reasons why that. I think he lost fair and square. Like a lot of us agree with that. But now, when we talk about a trilogy, also, and all this news that's coming out, it's shown that it's been heard, or I don't know if you guys can confirm it, that Wilder, and I think it is confirmed already. I just haven't had time to see all the news because it's too much. That Wilder wants the trilogy. He wants a trilogy, and now there are, it sounds like, word is floating around that around summer, maybe fall this year. I think that's just way too quick, man. I personally don't think they're. I kind of thought, and I was doubting, obviously, with all the mixed emotions I was talking about a moment ago. Like right after the fight, I was thinking, "There's no point for a trilogy, man." I thought that. I thought that because look, before we even saw the rematch, you guys know, before we even saw this rematch, man, we heard already about a trilogy, anyways. We already heard that after the rematch, they're talking about a trilogy already. That's, it sounds like it's in the contract as far as with the rematch. If one of them agrees to have a trilogy, they're going to have a trilogy or what have you. So I personally, man, after the fight, I was like, you know what, there's no reason for a trilogy. I kind of thought that. But because just the way how, one of the reasons that made me decide or think this is because of the performance that we're talking about a moment ago. While Tyson Fury's performance, man, I mean, it was a blowout victory, man. I mean, he really, really boxed nicely. Yeah, it was a little dirty. Yeah, and a lot of people say he was way too dirty or what have you. But hey, he had a game plan. He executed it, and it really worked wonderfully. I mean, that's the truth. You know what I mean? So seeing that, I don't know if there should be a trilogy. What do you think, Chris?
I think there should always be. First fight was a draw. This fight was a knockout on a punch that doesn't always land so perfect. Like it doesn't land, all the time. Like let's take that punch away. Well, what happens after that? Maybe Wilder does get outboxed for the next 4 or 5 rounds. Maybe he lands a shot. There's always and plus, he was a champ for 10 title defenses. So I mean, he deserves a rematch. He deserves his rematch. Are we going to say that Joshua didn't deserve his rematch? And look what he did when he ended up with his rematch. Um, I think I do. As far as should it happen right away? It depends. I mean, I don't think it should be in the next 4 months. Maybe a 6 month. Maybe fight 6 months away. Let Wilder take a rest. I mean, he's put in. What did he fight? What, December? And he's when was that fight? The
Which one?
the Ortiz fight. It
Man,
was just
yeah, I
not
don't.
too
I
long
think
ago.
it was recent. It was recent. Yeah.
He just fought not so long ago, and Fury did as well. But you let him get his time to rest, and let's see a trilogy, man. Let's see if he can come up with any adjustments. I know I'm hearing that he's not too happy with Breland, so let's see where that goes. But I do think he deserves a rematch, and he should take a rematch. As far as what's going to happen in that rematch, I'm not sure, man. I guess it all just depends on Wilder and um, what he can bring to the table in the rematch. As far as is he gonna, what's gonna happen? I know there's stipulations in the rematch, but I'm not all into that. I don't get into all what kind of contracts and shit like that are. But I just heard about different stipulations in the rematch. So if it has to happen any less than 4 months, I don't think it's too good for Wilder. If it where he can get an extended amount of time, or if he can get a tune-up in between, then that bodes more well for Wilder. But to say that he's just out of it, I don't agree with that. Like, he's always got the right hand. If he can land the right hand, he's always got a chance. He's always gonna have a chance in a fight, regardless. So I mean, that's my take on it.
All right. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, a trilogy would be great, but I just personally think right now, I think, Wilder should rest. He should rest a while. And like you said, I think he maybe should have even a tune-up fight. But the thing here also we got to consider is that Wilder, he's getting up there in age, man. I mean, how old is he now? Is he getting on to 35?
Yeah, I think, yeah, he's about. But you got to think about it, man. He's not an old 34 or old 35.
Right,
He's
right.
not. He hasn't been in boxing since he was younger. He didn't have a lot of what is it called? A lot of amateur. He doesn't have a large amateur background. He's been in um, fast fights. He hasn't taken a lot of punishment. So I mean, he's not like his body's worn down. He's not one of these fighters that have been fighting all their life, or just been through battles and wars like Gaddy, and stuff like that. He's he's taking care of himself. For all I know, he's not. He doesn't go around abusing his body and stuff. So I mean, he's a young. In boxing age, he's a young 34, young 35. He's not that old.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Very good point. So I think he has a couple more years maybe in him, as far as in the heavyweight division in the sport, you know what I mean? He did, I think the biggest punishment Wilder has ever taken in his career thus far has been, against Ortiz in the first fight, right? The first fight against Ortiz. Maybe minimal punishment in the rematch against Ortiz, right? He was getting checked quite a bit against Ortiz. Ortiz in the rematch I think he was winning every round probably, before Wilder really knocked him out in the or in the rematch. And in the rematch against Tyson Fury, I think we can say that that's the biggest punishment Wilder has ever taken in his career up to now. And I was just kind of worried about him, really. I was honestly worried about him after the third round. I was like, you know what? I don't know, Wilder. I don't know about this. Your health does not look good. And then I was kind of doubting a trilogy after that. At that time, I was like, I don't know if you should take a trilogy, man. I think you should just, close this chapter and go on to the next. You know what I mean? But hey, Wilder is accepting, according to all these, all this news floating around, he's accepting a trilogy. But like you said, I think he shouldn't take it for the summertime or this year. I think he should just even wait till next year, man. And I think both will be refreshed, and it will just be a major blowout. This would be like, back in the days where Pacquiao would fight. How many times did he fight Manuel Marquez? 3, 4 times?
5.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. It was a lot though, man. So imagine heavyweights going at it for a trilogy. Wow. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But like you said, man.
And then imagine if Wilder wins, then we get a fourth one. Man, that'll be awesome.
That would be insanity. That would be insanity.
For boxing, man, that would be so great for boxing. I mean, it would be amazing if that would happen.
Actually, you know what? Considering the numbers that are going to be coming out, hopefully soon, as pay-per-view and the gate, the sales at the gate, man, already it seems like boxing, man, it's really, really getting out there now, to the main, to casuals, what have you, right? To people who don't really watch boxing here in Mexico, even, it was being, many people were watching it here in Mexico. I got a friend here at my job, a coworker here, and his family watched it. They were all watching it because I was, telling them, my friend about Wilder and, about Fury, and man, so, their whole family was watching it. So down here in Mexico, even, man, it made a lot of noise. So, and these guys aren't even Mexican fighters, man. Typically as patriotism is, as patriotism is, a nation, for example, in the UK, a lot of people favor AJ, over Wilder, vice versa. In the Americas, right? A lot of people favor Wilder over AJ, or what have you, right? Tyson Fury, most British fans favor Tyson Fury, even though, a lot of American fans at the same time, they do acknowledge, us in the Western Hemisphere, we do acknowledge Tyson Fury's skills, and we're giving him all the credit, definitely. I don't really fall into that patriotism category, and, because he's American, I go for this guy. Because he's this, I go for that. I typically look at the skills. That's usually what I look at. Yeah, is the skills. What are they bringing to the table, and who is better than the other, right? Let the best man win. So, But yeah, out
And,
here,
like
yeah,
you can always you can always pick a different guy that's not your favorite fighter, or just a guy that you prefer to win, and you can always root for that for the other guy, the guy that you like. You know, you can always do that. I do that a lot. I always I pick the guy that I believe is gonna win, and then I'll root for the guy that I want to win. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
exactly. And I think the problem is with this whole patriotism thing is that when people blindly go for the fighter who's from their country and don't consider the other person's skills and things like that, I think that's totally the wrong way to go about it, right? And I think you're doing it just right. You know what I'm saying? Acknowledge who is better skilled, but go for the fighter you want to go for. You know what I'm saying? So and that's the thing here in Mexico. It's interesting because here in Mexico, Wilder Fury, nothing to do with Mexican, as far as patriotism or blood or race or whatever, right? Wilder and Fury, UK fighter versus an all-American fighter. You know what I'm saying? African American, what have you. And down here in Mexico, man, a lot of people are watching, man. So the reason why I say all this is because the rematch as it is. It was explosive already, man. It was explosive. It was great for boxing. And if a trilogy comes around, oh my gosh, man. So it's already, as it is right now, all this, post fight, quote unquote excuses, because that's what many people are calling it. I'm not calling it. A lot of people are calling it. I don't know. Right. Or reasons, right? Reasons that are coming out from Wilder to why he lost, that's going viral already. That's going viral already, and that's getting the attention, of casuals and people like that. You know what I mean? And then just imagine it. The buildup for the trilogy is going to be even bigger. Also, do you think so?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I believe this one did great. I don't need to look at the numbers, but I just believe it did great. They put on a show, and I mean, just everything. Uh, I think the trilogy is going to be, I mean, a huge, huge trilogy, man. I think it'll be
Definitely.
really, really big.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the
Well,
same. I don't really go into no. Yeah.
and then like everybody loves a redemption story, just like they love Fury's redemption story. They'll
Yep.
love Wilder's redemption story. So I mean it. I mean, it'll be two guys that people genuinely like. You have Wilder in America, like a lot of people love Wilder. What he stands for. That the way he knocks people out, and then now that he's lost and he doesn't look invincible anymore. More people will root for him. Not more people. And then you got Fury, who went through what he went through and came back from that, and had a draw with Wilder, and both of them are trying to put on great fights. Trying to fight each other, the best of the best. And then he's also, he's redeemed himself and won the belt. And came from his lowest point and came to the top again. So, I mean, it's great, man. It'll be a great trilogy, like you said. It'll be a great trilogy, and it'll be big, man, because both of them are gonna have a lot to fight for.
I personally think I totally agree, man. Like great backstories, coming up from a loss, man, that would be a blowout. Just like Tyson Fury, exactly, came from the backstory that he came from, right? Suffering, his substance abuse, depression, what have you, whatever things he was struggling with. A lot of people, in media, they called it demons. He was, struggling, fighting his own demons, whatever, right? And to be champ now, wow, WBC champ, that's awesome. That's awesome. And for Wilder, if he comes back again and wins the trilogy, wow. And I'm almost positive, man. I'm almost positive if like you said a moment ago, some moments ago, that if Wilder wins the trilogy, there's going to be a fourth fight. I'm almost positive Tyson Fury is not going to want to back down. If I'm not mistaken, how many more fights does Tyson Fury have? I remember hearing somewhere, I don't know if it's official, whatever, right? But like I said, there's just so much. There's too many sources out there. There are too many sources out there nowadays, and there's so many articles and things like that being pushed, as far as the sport of boxing. But I heard, right, and I'm sure you guys have heard it, that Tyson Fury mentioned something along the lines, or I don't know if his team or whatever, with Top Rank. I think he has just a few more fights left. If I'm not mistaken, Fury himself said along these lines that he has, like, before this rematch, he had like 4 more fights, and he's going to, 3. Thank you, say it, JK. Salute, JK. Salute, JK. Sorry, man. The people who are in the chat, I didn't have a chance to. Brian Harkins, salute. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, 3 more fights, right, JK? It looks like your emblem is from the UK. Respect, shouts out to the UK, Europe. But yeah, say if I'm not mistaken, Tyson Fury's talking about 3 more fights. So if he has a trilogy, that's another one, right? And if he loses in the trilogy, if we're theoretically speaking here, all right, then he would fight. I'm almost positive. Tyson Fury, man, he has a heart of a lion. I mean, I gotta accept that. I admit it, and I respect that. I gotta also admit, I really didn't like Tyson Fury's, loudmouth things that he's been saying, on the lead up to the fight. He reminds me of Conor McGregor to a certain extent, even though these guys are skilled, amazingly skilled fighters. I mean, nothing to take away from that, but you was just talking so much, and I wanted Wilder to win so badly, but hey, he lost. It's all right, man. No, no, no. A fight's a fight. Great. But the reason why I say all this is that because Fury, he's not the type of guy to back down, man. It looks like he's not the type of guy to back down. I personally think, okay, real quick, just to back what my point, okay? I personally think Fury didn't want the immediate rematch. Remember when Wilder and Fury fought the first time? Wilder, in the post-fight interviews, okay, he was asked if he wanted a rematch. He said yes. Fury, when he was asked if he wanted a rematch, okay, he said, no, I got to see my team. I made a video on it. I got to go with my team. I got to see what's next. And I knew he didn't want to fight Wilder an immediate rematch after the first fight, right? Fury then went to Top Rank, 2 fights. Then he came back to rematch Wilder. Amazing victory. The reason why I say all this is that if he loses a trilogy, if Tyson Fury loses a trilogy against Wilder, I think Fury is the type of guy that says, you know what, I want to fight again. I want to do it again, and I think he's going to have a great last few fights, as far as Fury is concerned. So, yeah, I mean, I hope.
Did he say that was 3 fights and then he's going to retire, or is that 3 fights for the contract that he has?
Oh, I think he's going to retire, man. I don't mark my words on that, but I think it's going to be he's going to retire. I think so. Don't mark my words, right? We'll probably see something tomorrow. Say something else, right? But
okay, then yeah, I would say basically it would be the rematch with Wilder, because they have the rematch clause, so I'm pretty sure that that'll happen. And then and you know what? Honestly, the way that Wilder is, I believe that regardless if they have to fight in 4 months, Wilder will take the rematch. I just think just because the way he is, I believe that he'll take the rematch.
yeah, because if I'm not mistaken,
Um,
if I'm not mistaken, that's what it's being said. It's being said that Wilder himself, he's accepting an immediate trilogy, and he wants it. He wants it. That's
yeah,
what's being said. I can't be affirm it, right? But there's just so much stuff coming out. I just go on Twitter and read things quickly, and but it's being said that. But I don't think that's the best decision, man. I honestly don't think Wilder should jump in there again. If he does, watch this. Now let's look at the flip side. If they do have this trilogy this year, and if Fury wins, okay, which is a big possibility now. Now it's a big possibility, I personally think, because like you just said, Chris, right a moment ago, that Wilder in the first 2 rounds, man, he was just throwing them 1-2s. I mean, I think he was just throwing those 1-2s. If Wilder's uniform, that whole ring walk was really an issue, I'm not saying it wasn't, but if that's true, what I'm saying? I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying Wilder's lying. No, he speaks from his heart, what I'm saying? If that really was the factor, well, then it is what it is, right? That must be why he was just giving 1-2s and he was really limited in round 1 or 2. Or on the other hand, yeah.
no, go ahead and finish it.
Yeah, or on
I'll
the
take
other
that.
hand, or on the other hand, in rounds 1 or 2, he was just warming up. You know what I'm saying? He was just warming up and getting ready to go. And then that shot happened in round 3 that we were talking about earlier in this live. And, it is what it is. And he just went downhill from there.
Yeah. I wouldn't say the 1-2s were basically based off of that.
Right.
I would say that that's his MO. That's what he does. It's the 1-2. That's his punch.
Yeah.
That's the way he'll disguise it. He'll disguise by putting a jab out there and then come with the 2. That's a lot of what he tries to do. But I would say that you could say it's his leg, like his movement. As far as his ability to evade punches, to get out of range, to stay in range, just different. That's why you could say that. But I felt, and I had a discussion with someone, but I felt that um, he's been doing that. He's kind of been slowing down a little bit.
Right, right,
And
right,
to
right.
me, I felt that from the first Tyson Fury fight. That he came out the same way, like he kind of came out
Yep,
flat in that fight too, I
yep,
believe.
yep.
And then as far as this one too, so I believe that he's kind of, to me, I feel like he's slowing down a little bit athletically. And I
That's
could be
look,
wrong.
Chris Reyna. I don't want to interrupt. That's kind of why I thought earlier. That's kind of why I thought why I mentioned his age. I'm not saying because his age he's got it slowing down, but I kind of imply it. That's why I mentioned his age earlier and thinking, you know what? I don't know if Wilder should have this trilogy. That's why I kind of doubt it, man. And that's why I have to consider, if they have the trilogy, I'm kind of leaning towards a little bit more that Tyson Fury will win a trilogy if they do it this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a
Well,
yeah, huh?
I mean, I mean, he just, I think he needs to work on some things, and I think he just can't be too predictable, man. That's what I feel like he does. And I've seen him fight off his back foot before. I've seen him throw combinations. I've seen him not just throw the 1-2, but or throw the 1-2 and come back with the hook to the body. I've seen him do that before. I've seen him do different things, but it seems like he's just becoming too predictable.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
exactly.
been, so it's just, I don't. I mean, I don't want to say. I mean, either work on it with your trainer or whatever you
Right.
want, whatever you feel like you need to do. But there has to be something that has to change from what you just did these last three fights, what you've been
Couple
doing.
fights, exactly. Last few
You,
fights. And
you know,
then uh-huh.
you got away with it with Ortiz, but you didn't. You're not. But with Fury's on a different level than that, and you're not going to get away with it with Fury.
Exactly, man.
Fury's just too
Exactly.
good. So I mean, it's just you just make some adjustments and see where it lands. See if you can overcome all of it or what. But as far as everything else, I don't put too much into a lot of the things that he's saying because it's all part of the fight game, man. You can't like you're going in there with a guy that's bigger than you. You picking these things to come out with. So it is what it is. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the boxing game. So you just got to overcome these things. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah,
And, I mean, and it's a lot. It's a lot, but I mean, it is what it is. That's
exactly, man. That's
this is the life you chose. This is the profession you choose. So you just got to overcome it. And I believe Wilder is somebody that can do that. I believe that he's got a lot of what is it called? I don't know, tenacity, or he's got a lot of grit in him. He's got a lot of heart in him. He's got a lot of that. He's got a lot of heart, man. So I believe he
yeah.
can.
Definitely, definitely. And I agree, man. I agree. And I just the thing that and I've been saying it, man, time and time again. Back in my Wilder Ortiz rematch analysis, I was mentioning that. Not in those words, but I was saying, you know what? Wilder needs to use more athleticism. And he already has it. He just hasn't been using it, or more footwork in the ring. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it, man, the last few fights, and that's what makes me think. Those are the main factors that make me think. You know what? I don't know if there should be a trilogy, man. And let's talk about this. Let's kind of flip it up a little bit. This is what Max Bryant is saying, right? I was going to touch upon this right now, a moment ago at least, or in this live at least, whatever. I was going to mention this now. Okay, now I know I'm almost positive this is not going to happen, but who knows, right? With politics, with fighting and contracts, like you said, I don't get in all those details of stipulations and being contractual stipulations and what who signed to what, and this happens because I don't know. I don't get into that stuff because it gets kind of complex and confusing. It's important to mention sometimes, but as far as what it looks like, I don't think Anthony Joshua is going to fight Fury soon. Okay, I don't think he's going to fight Fury soon at all because Max Bryant standing here that is saying that AJ versus Fury will be massive. It would definitely be massive, but for one, I don't think it would be in the Western Hemisphere. I think that would be it would be in the United Kingdom or somewhere around that side of the pond. I think it would be massive. It would be great to watch, but I honestly think, in my humble opinion, all right, Anthony Joshua doesn't have the tools, man, to beat Fury. I mean, just piggyback off of El Chapo, what he said a moment ago. In other words, I'll be paraphrasing, but kind of saying it in a different way as far as Tyson Fury. And you can't do the same things against Tyson Fury, man. Like AJ, I mean, he's a great fighter. I like his skills, but I just think he's too. I think Fury can easily pick AJ apart, man. I think Fury can pick AJ apart, man, just from what we've seen. And just saying how Fury has that amazing defense, and we saw offense on Saturday night, against Wilder. I don't know, man. I don't think it would be massive as far as like numbers, but as far as like real competition, I think Fury would just really, really, really. I think he would take out AJ nicely, man. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I believe so too. I tend to like fighters who, in the ring, they can make their own adjustments. They don't need to wait till they go back to the corner to make those adjustments. And there's some fighters that can do that, and there's a lot of fighters that can't. Majority of the fighters can't. Majority of the fighters they'll do a minor adjustment, a real simple adjustment, but not to where you can make it where you can still back the round. And I believe that Fury is one of those fighters that can do that can make an adjustment in the ring himself, and make those adjustments. I don't feel like AJ can. I don't think AJ is that intelligent in the ring, as far as when it comes to boxing IQ and making adjustments. So I believe that Fury is great at that.
Yeah, man, definitely, definitely. And just before we close, man, about a couple more minutes left, man. I don't want to go too long live, but so yeah, I personally think that Fury shouldn't. I'm sorry, AJ shouldn't fight Fury, and I don't think he is. I think he's going to be focused more on his mandatories, if I'm not mistaken, Usyk, Povetkin, and those names, those types of names, right? While I don't think White, I don't think he's a prospect against AJ again. A rematch with White, I doubt it. So it looks like. It's more probable to see the Wilder Fury trilogy this year or soon next year, right? Early next year, sorry. They probably will have a warm up. In my personal opinion, I don't think Wilder should jump right back into a trilogy. I really will be worried if that happens. And if Fury wins in this trilogy, right? Whenever it will be, hands down. I mean, Fury. I mean, as it is right now. Fury's the champ, WBC champ heavyweight. All respect, all due honor, respect to whom respect is due. But I don't see AJ in the mix. I don't really see him in the mix right now. The names that are hot right now are Wilder and Fury. You know what I mean? The heavyweight division. So closing argument, or I'm sorry, arguments. Closing comments, bro. Any closing comments before we leave, man? What do you think's next? What do you think's gonna happen next this year as far as the heavyweight division?
I'm just ready for these fights coming this weekend. I want to see the Jesse Vargas and Mikey Garcia fight.
Oh, Mike Garcia, yeah.
That's gonna be a good one, man. I don't think he's just gonna walk over Jesse Vargas. I think it's gonna be a very competitive fight. I'm excited about the rest of the year, man. Hopefully we get some big fights. Hopefully we get some big names and big fights together. And if I can, man, let me make a shout out to Marlo's Corner. Hey, man, for the people in the chat, if you like boxing, you like blow by blow commentary, come by to Marlo's Corner on fight nights. We do blow by blow commentary with Trey X and Marlo's Corner. So make sure y'all go ahead and go over there, man, on fight night.
Definitely, man. Definitely go subscribe. Go subscribe to Marlo's Corner. He's the best I have ever heard as far as calling a fight, man. Amazing. It's so fun. Great community there, too. We all chop it up right there. A lot of people go live right there in the chat. It's awesome, man. Yeah, go subscribe definitely to Marlo's Corner. You'll see El Chapo Reina there also. So, hey, thank you so much, El Chapo, for joining in, man. I didn't even expect you coming. I was just going to throw this live alone. But, hey, awesome that you came, man.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you looking out.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hey, before y'all head out, make sure y'all drop a like and hit the notification bell. Make sure y'all subscribe to Renee Boxing, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in live. I mean, there was a little debate there going in the chat. It's all good. All love, man. We keep it respectful. Thank you so much, man. Thanks again, El Chapo Reina. We'll see you this Saturday to see Jesse Vargas, right? Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas, man. It's going to be a great fight.
All right,
Peace out,
man.
Pat. Peace out, family. Peace.